beautiful Mother's Day as everyone's gathered at Coors Field.
Throw again for the Phils. Bryce Harper leads off the sixth.
We're in Colorado, where everyone is enjoying Mother's Day with the values of kindness, grace, consideration, empathy. Actually, I do want to talk about the strike zone box graphic, which looks a little bit suspect. Happens a lot more than you think. It looks a little out of place, like the Capital One behind third base there, but this happens a lot more than you think. The strike zone is going to feature prominently not just for this sixth inning ejection and the Schwarber at bat, but a seventh inning dust up as well. But let's begin with Schwarber.
Strike three called, a pitch that was up out of the box. Schwarber is not pleased.
So Schwarber talks to the umpire, who's exhibiting those values of patience and empathy and kindness and understanding. Now the manager comes out. You can come out to protect your player, but as soon as you start arguing balls and strikes, you're going to get tossed.
Thrown out of this game. He was heated by from the time he stepped out of the dugout.
The reason the player's okay but the manager's not is the player can be said to be going back to the dugout, umpire discretion on how long you want to listen to that, but the manager is clearly leaving his position in the dugout to come onto the field to argue balls and strike. That's ejectable. Remember, it's with this strike zone box, so everyone's super on the same page about everything, right?
Jake Bird warming up in the pen. Marsh does take.
Philadelphia doesn't like the strike zone, and Bird, not the umpire, who thinks he's throwing strikes, is going to take offense.
Ground ball out to shortstop. Gobbled up. They throw to second for one, over to first in time. They might be challenging even to play at second base, whether his feet were on the bag.
Meanwhile, Philly, without its regular manager, has failed to hold immediately after the play and challenge timely as required in the challenge rules, so this fiasco happens where the umpires won't say anything over the public address system, leaving everyone to speculate, despite them having a microphone, because baseball's the best sport ever.
I do believe somebody else is going to wind up getting run from this game.
Get it in time.
Which is fine. Tell us that.
So now, Stott tosses the bat like it's ball 4, or he's a college player hitting a home run who's about to get tossed, and Bird sees all of this. Like, I'm throwing these strikes. Y'all are showing me up by acting like they're not, but they are. Except it's just Philadelphia being super passive-aggressive toward the home plate umpire because they had a problem with his zone, which predates Bird coming into the game.
This is not a strike.
Either the Rockies or the Phillies. Somebody's going to get run.
Stott flies out, Bird taunts the Phillies dugout, and we're on.
Makes the catch. Well, Bryce Harper's got to have to be held back. Jake Bird started saying something. Harper's not happy about it. He's pushing Diaz. Watch the elbow. JT's coming over as well. They're telling, Jake Bird must have said something as he was going off the field.
Harper is extricated, and from an umpiring standpoint, what needs to be done now is to go into bench clear mode. We've talked about the separation of halves concept in the past. Third base dugout team is separated to the left side, first base dugout to the right. Separate the teams, then figure out who started or instigated, who was the first from the other team to respond. How did they respond? Did anyone throw or hit? Were there any peacemakers that could be mistaken for combatants? Things like that. At the ignition point, an umpire can step in to try to separate, but once you recognize it's a clearing and you're outnumbered, step back and just watch for later. In this situation, it's clear the pitcher instigated. Harper was the primary on Philadelphia. Lower levels, it's easy. Everyone's gone who's off the bench. But in professional ball, it's just another Mother's Day in the park.
Talking a lot of smack for somebody who didn't throw the ball that well.